Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this video is 12 games that I can't seem to get played. I know the video title says 10 games, and that's because top 10 lists are a thing on YouTube, but occasionally I manage to sneak in a few games, and I have two specific games that managed to make it over the cuff here for specific reasons. We'll talk about it when we get to them. But these are 12 games that I really want to get played, and the criteria I had for this list, the simple criteria, this is all about my games, my collection, things I'm trying to play and haven't yet. And the specific criteria I had are games that I've read the rulebooks to, in many cases multiple times, have continuously tried to get tabled, either solo, I don't think any of these are solo really, continue to try to get tabled either with my wife, my game group, whoever, and have failed time and time again. I don't know the whys, I don't know the hows, but for some reason other games are always picked, and these are games that I have the rules ringing around in my head, trying to get tabled. Again, some of these have been read multiple times, and I cannot get them played. So why am I talking about them? I don't know. I don't know. Why do I talk about anything? Why do I talk about the games leaving my collection? Why do I talk about my top favorite games of all time? Why do I talk about any number of different things? Because I like talking about board games. That's really the reason. I'm here to talk about board games. This may or may not interest you in the slightest, but these are games that I do want to get played and just have not been able to. And let's start with the two that were not officially part of the 10, even though one of them totally should be. The first one, the one that I was going to have 11 games. And timestamps down below, jump around to whatever section you want. But I was going to originally have 11 games, one off the list, and then I added another. We'll talk about that shortly. But number 11 with literal dust on the cover. I don't know if you can see that, but that is dust. We have Nanty Narking. Nanty Narking from Phalanx Games, or Phalanx Games? I think it's Phalanx Games. I could be wrong with this. The reason this is number 11 is because I have played Discworld, Morkpock, I don't know how to say it, I just call it Discworld. I have played Discworld, a game from Martin Wallace, Nanty Narking, also a game from Martin Wallace. This is the same game. There might be slight differences to it. I've read the rules for Discworld, and I've played Discworld, and I've read the rules for Nanty Narking like 3 times now. It's like 2 pages, so it's really easy to refresh yourself when it's time to go. But I've read the rules multiple times. I just haven't actually tabled this one. I don't know why. Partially because it requires exactly 4 players, so it does need that specific aspect to it. But I really liked Discworld back in the day. I played Discworld, I really enjoyed it, I thought it was an excellent game that didn't stay in my collection, mind you, although part of that might have been biased by like the $500 price point for the game. It was rare and out of print and hard to get your hands on, but it's a game that I really enjoyed of hidden roles. You kind of have these hidden roles, more specifically aligning with hidden goals. The idea being that I will win, but how do I win? And you don't know that. You know that there's a player who wins by collecting money, you know there's a player who wants trouble markers on the board, but you don't know which player is which. And so as the game state starts to change, as things start to happen, you start to worry which player might be winning, and you don't necessarily know. But if I can feel that you're going for X, Y, and Z, I can try to get in your way. But if you're not going for X, Y, and Z, then I'm not actually getting in your way at all, and you might win through some other means. And so it's a game of trying to keep that information secret, although it's not necessarily necessary to keep it secret, but it might be helpful to do so. You're playing that kind of hidden aspect game, similar to games like Veiled Fate or Clans, that strategic deduction element, and I really liked Discworld. And so I got Nanty Narking, and I have not played Nanty Narking in probably a year plus, possibly longer. I have not played this game. I've read the rules multiple times. I keep wanting to get it tabled, and it has not been tabled. Again, the reason this is number 11, the reason I allowed myself that 11th pick, is because of the fact that I technically played Discworld, so that's a way of sneaking in an extra game. Honestly, by the way, I don't actually have that many in this category. The category, like I said already, are games that I'm trying to get tabled, trying to get played, and games that I've read the rules to. Like, I have to, like, when I say trying to, it has to be a degree of trying to, and to that end, there are actually fewer games than you would think. I maybe have 15, 20 games in my collection that fall into this category of games that I've read the rules to, tried to get tabled, and haven't gotten them tabled. But I was trying to pick from those 15, 20 to give my top 10 or whatnot. Like Raccoon Tycoon's one that didn't make the list, arguably should have, but didn't. Anachrony probably should have made the list. And now I'm realizing all the games in hindsight that should have made the list. Speaking of which, my number 12 pick is the one that absolutely no question should 100% have made the list. In fact, the reason it didn't make the list is because as I was going through my games, I didn't even see it because I stuffed it in a corner of the basement, hidden away from my guilt-ridden eyes, because this game, I believe, is the longest standing game in my collection that has not been played, going on like 5 years by now. And that is Fury of Dracula. Fury of Dracula, going on 5+ years. Someone recently told me that they'd teach me the game. I don't know, maybe it's at a convention, maybe something. I've read the rules multiple times, just never gotten it played. Part of it is the supposedly long playtime of the experience. Part of it, I mean, I love hidden movement games. I love the idea of being Dracula, wandering on the map, trying to avoid the players, occasionally finding yourself in tussles with them as they slowly fight you, try to find your location, try to pin you down, as you try to escape once more into the night, fluttering away as a bat. This is a hidden movement game. I love hidden movement movement. I love the genre of hidden movement. I don't think I've ever played a hidden movement game I didn't like. How much I like them is a different conversation, but I've liked all of them. And to that end, we have, Spectre Ops, we have Sniper Elite, we have Mind Management and Beast, my two favorites in the genre. And Fury of Dracula is one that I have not played yet. Oh, Letters from Whitechapel is absolutely amazing. I should talk about that one soon. But Fury of Dracula, I have not played. And I've read the rules for it again, 2, maybe 3 times, and it's been in my collection for, again, maybe 5 years. Most of the time when a game is in my collection for anywhere near that long, I get rid of it. I realize it is clearly not going to be played and it's time to move on from it, but I've never lost the desire to play Fury of Dracula. I just haven't played Fury of Dracula. The only reason this is number 12 is because, again, it was hidden away in the darkness so that I cannot see it, and I forgot about it, and I didn't want to reorder or take anything else off the list at that point in the video. Although, again, it's a good thing I didn't think of Anachrony, because Anachrony should have totally made the cut. In any case, going on to the actual list in zero particular order whatsoever, we'll start off with Meeples and Monsters from AEG. Meeples and Monsters from AEG. Read the rulebook to this only one time, and this is one of the newer games in my collection from these games that have not been played. This one's been floating around for maybe 7 months, maybe 6 months, not that long, but also a game that shouldn't be that hard to table. This is a game that I can easily table with my wife and daughter, 2-3 players, dive into it, nice, accessible, a little bit of Lords of Waterdeep meets Quacks of Quedlinburg, bag building with worker placement as you build up your engine and take down the monsters. Looks very simple, looks very accessible, and just hasn't gotten tabled. Same reason as everything else here. It's an aspect of knowing the rules and wanting to get it to the table, but just not ever having it work out like you plan. The game is very simple. The rulebook is very easy to dive into. If you know worker placement, if you know bag building, you got most of the game right there, and the rest of it comes down to the sequential aspect of just what goes where and how you slowly build up your tableau as you gather things, ultimately taking down the monsters, adding buildings to the board, and trying to do what you can to eventually take down the big bads in the corner or whatnot. Again, I know how to play, or at least mostly know how to play. I probably need a rules refresh before I play it again, before I play it for the first time. But Meeples and Monsters from AEG is one that has just been, as soon as I got it, I read the rules. It was easy. It seemed very simple. Just didn't get it played from there. From there we go to another one in the 8-month category, which is going to be from Devere Games, which is Bitoku. Now, Bitoku is one that I was very, very excited when it first came out. Very excited. Immediately immediately learned how to play it, immediately dove into it. Well, didn't dive into it. Immediately started the process of diving into it. But then what happened is reviews started coming out, and it seemed like people were more mixed on it. And this has a lot of stuff to set up for a game that is more mixed on. People liked it, don't get me wrong. People liked it like a strong 7.5, maybe even an 8. But for a very heavy Euro game with a lot of things going on, and a game that I didn't want to even deal with the mental aspect of teaching this. Now, recently I've played Lacrimosa from Devere Games and really love that one. In fact, most Devere games kind of enter my collection and get played right away. Devere Games has generally delivered a lot of solid games that I've really liked. Not all of them. There have been some that have misses for me. That Roll and Write one wasn't really for me. But overall, they have delivered some really solid games in a variety of weight classes, and I have really enjoyed their games. Bitoku is beautiful. It also has a billion pieces, a ton of rules, and is a lot to teach, which is why even though I know how to play, or I should say knew how to play, 6 months ago does not translate into me knowing the game today, it's a lot, and it intimidates me, and I should really get it tabled. Maybe I should even dive into the solo mode so I can just get it under my belt. I don't know what will happen with Bitoku. It looks lovely. I want to play it. I like Devere Games. They have delivered, again, even if they're not for everyone. I don't know. What's a good example? I don't even know who played Lacrimosa. But I don't know the opinions of Lacrimosa. I don't know other people who loved or didn't love about it. I loved it. I love Lacrimosa. I generally love Devere Games. Generally. Not exclusively. Red Cathedral's a solid 4 to 5. Paris is a 5 out of 5 for me. Adore that one. No Luna Capital, another 4 to 5. They have some really, really good games for me. And Bitoku may join that list, but I won't know until I play it. Going back on the other end of the scale, as far as older games that have stuck around for a bit, we have Gugong, which actually temporarily left my collection for like a day and a half. Gugong is a game that left my collection, supposedly. I put in a video, I said this is leaving my collection, I'm not playing it, I've read the rules multiple times, I know the whole gift-giving exchange, the tracks, all the things you're trying to manage as you rub shoulders with political diplomats and try to exchange gifts and move your way up, making sure you don't get eliminated by that one of, and I've read the rules, I'm prepped to go, but eventually it just wasn't getting tabled. And in the video, I said I'm getting rid of it. And then multiple people were like, no, don't get rid of it. It's a really, really good game. And so I was like, you know what? I will respect the wishes of the people and I will play this game. I'm pretty sure that was 2.5 years ago. It has not been played. Evidently. I don't know when it gets played. I mean, it plays 1 to 5 players. I should check what player count it's good with. It says 90 minutes. There's really no good excuse to not playing this one except for the fact that I just haven't managed to get it tabled. But I really would like to play Gugong. Just even if it's just to knock it off the list. Many of these games, I don't need to keep all the games. In fact, I'm excited when I love a game, and I'm excited when I don't love a game. There's a little annoying middle spot there where I like the game a lot, but I'm like, will I play it or not? That's a different category where I get irritated because like I like it enough to want to keep it, but also I recognize I like other games better. I'm worried a game like Bitoku will fall into that category for context. But most of the time, a game is, more often than not, I'm either excited enough to clearly keep it, or okay enough with it to clearly let it go, even while appreciating it. There are categories of games that are bad too, but those are the exception. And so I just want to play it. I don't care if I keep it or not. Maybe I just have to play it to say, you know what, that was good. Also, I'd rather play Coimbra, or Lacrimosa, or Aquatica, or Whistle Mountain, any other number of games that have really made an impact on me. Gugong may or may not fall into that category, but I want to at least play it. Going back on the other spectrum to slightly newer, not overly that new, but again, 6-month range plus, is Cactus Town. Read the rules for this one twice, and I'm hoping, as of filming this video, I'm hoping to play it this next week. Hoping. I don't know if I will. Hoping to play it this next week. We'll see if it happens. That hoping has happened 3 or 4 times by now. But Cactus Town is a game I've read the rules for. It's got a degree of programming. It's basically it's programming as you go for your own goals, asymmetric sides, each going for their own goals on the map as you try to capture the people, capture the bad guys. You have the deputies, you have the sheriff, you have the can dancer, and you're all trying to navigate your own goals as you plan out and programmatically plan out what you're going to do, and then execute on those programs simultaneously. Similar to games like Robo Rally, like Mechs vs. Minions, like other games I'm not recalling offhand. But it has that programming aspect that I really tend to enjoy, and it has that degree of chaos and fun. I think it'll be a game that I like. Again, I don't know if it'll be a game I love, that's a different conversation, but I haven't even got a chance to play it. I've read the rules, I prepped for it, I got the deluxe edition over here with a ton of extras and nice stuff going on in the box, some gorgeous miniatures, a lot more variety. If you actually like the game, you can dive into a ton more stuff. I'm curious, but I need to play it first, which has not yet happened. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. I've read the rules, I'm prepped to go, hopefully soon. Going back to the older end of things, we have Clans of Caledonia. I'm alternating between old and new at this point. We have Clans of Caledonia, read the rules for this twice, and I've had this in my collection for, again, I want to say 4-ish years. Less than Fear of Dracula, but definitely quite some time. This is a Euro game that is very well respected, very well rated. It might be the top 100. I don't remember if it's top 100 or not. I think it might be top 100 on Board Game Geek. If not top 100, top 200. It's high up there. It's a well-rated, well-respected Euro game of resource management and getting your milk and your cows and supplies and fulfilling orders as you wander around the map, as you build out on the map. Looks very intriguing. Looks exactly like my genre of game. A solid Euro game that I like Euro games. I like a lot of Euro games. I love Feast for Odin, I love Caverna, I love Le Havre, I love, Coimbra, I love Food Chain Magnet, I love Hansa Teutonica. There are so many games in this category that I really enjoy. This is one that it can absolutely hit out of the park, especially considering how well it's rated and respected and liked by many, and I have not gotten it played. Another one that has not seen the table just yet. Going back to the slightly newer category, not that old, but this one is one I actually got in an order from Game Nerds. I'm trying to remember what else I got in that order. This is Babylonia from Reina Knizia. I got Babylonia. I got Stella Dixit Universe, whatever. I got like 2 more games in that order. I got, I think, a Marvel Champions expansion. I can't remember what else I got. I got an order of 4 games from Game Nerds, and Babylonia was one of those games. Babylonia was one of the games that inspired the purchase. I was like, you know what? I've heard good things about this game. I want to get my hands on it. Reina Knizia in general has put out a lot of games that I've enjoyed. Not all that I've kept. In fact, even some of his best games I haven't kept for one reason or another. But Babylonia looks intriguing. And it does look intriguing. Read the rulebook twice. I know exactly all about the placement aspect of trying to place your people, trying to close things off, trying to create chains of people so you can get those bonus tokens. Lots of scoring opportunities in this game as you place things down. Feels very much, just from reading the rules, it feels like a Reina Knizia game. It gives you kind of those Tigers and Euphrates vibes with a totally different system. Almost like a weird cross between like Tigers and Euphrates combined with Ingenious and a system that kind of might seem to work. I don't know, but I am intrigued. And it looks like it plays in a reasonable 60 minutes. And it plays 2 to 4 players, although part of the problem has been that it seems to be very strongly rated as best with 4, which is also why I've kind of held off trying to exclusively play this with 4, although 3 I think I'd be willing to as well. But I have not played this, along with Amon-Re, which is also for Reina Knizia, I believe, and I haven't played that either. So maybe some of his games have not gotten the table. Amon-Re has been in my collection for a long time as well, but this is not in that video. That is not in this video, I should say. But yeah, Babylonia. A game I'm very much looking forward to. Read the rulebook at least twice. Very simple rulebook. 2-3 pages, very quick dive into it. 60-minute play. This is one that I should be playing sooner rather than later. Whether or not I am playing it sooner rather than later is a different conversation, but I certainly should be. Which brings us back to the older category where we have the Godfather Corleone's Empire. This is one where I've gotten very mixed feedback whenever I talk about it. I've gotten people who are like, oh, skip that one. There's a reason it was a $10 Barnes & Noble discount. I think it was actually TJ Maxx and and the other one. It wasn't Barnes & Noble, so it was TJ Maxx and another store that had this available for deep discount. But either way, this game, Godfather from Eric Lang, I think from Eric Lang, yeah, Eric Lang from Come On Games, is one that generally, when I talk about it, like I said, people are either fall into a category of saying there's a reason it's a discounted game, or others are, no, that's a great area control game that you'll really like. Plays 2 to 5 players, rated best with 4. It got, what is it, 60 to 90 minutes? 60 to 90 minutes. And it's a game of trying to place down your mafia bosses in various towns to either be the front of the business or the back of the business, to raid different areas, to complete different goals, to go through this sequence of play as you eventually unlock narcotics and whatnot in the game. Again, read through the rules, understand the basic gameplay mechanism. Seems like it could be a strong, simple, Blood Rage style game. Not Blood Rage comparable. Blood Rage is one of my favorite games. I don't imagine it actually lasts that. But like, I genuinely don't know whether The Godfather is going to be a game where I play it once and I'm like, that was good, I move on from it, or whether it's a game that I'm like, that was amazing, I must have this in my collection. I don't know. I have to play it first. I've read the rules, I think 3 times, tried to table it multiple times, rated strongly as best with 4. Again, another problem there. 4 is a very hotly contested area in my game group as far as trying to get games tabled as it is. Generally, when we have 4 players, we want to play the games we love. We want to play Root, we want to play Rurik, we want to play Siglades, Kemet, Blood Rage. So many different games that are best with 4. Coimbra, Food Chain Magnet. There are a ton of games that excel at 4, and sometimes my game group's like, you know what? We've already learned 322 new games this year. We don't need to learn another one. They don't actually learn that many. I do, but they get spared that much. Anyways, Godfather, Corleone's Empire. Going back to the slightly newer category, we have Sanctum from CGE. Is this the second CGE game we have? No, we don't have CGE. We only have the one CGE. Sanctum by Philip Niduk, one which I've heard mixed things on, but was very intrigued and wanted to pick this one up. I got this one at Origins last year, so a year and a half now, I guess, bordering on a year and a half, a little less than a year and a half, maybe a year based on when Origins was last year. Because Origins had that weird, like, post-COVID starting up again, and then last year, so I think it's only been, like, 13 months since last Origins. Anyways, since 2 Origins ago, that is. But yeah, we have Sanctum. Sanctum is a game that I've read the rules twice. I've set it up once. I've tried tabling it multiple times. I remember reading the rule book on the way to Gamma, like, for the first time, and I've read it again since then to, like, prep to actually play it. Plays well with 2, which is where I keep trying to play it, but have not gotten it tabled yet. Seems like an interesting puzzle of a game that you have to kind of treat like a Euro game, even though it presents as an Ameritrash game. In theory, that will help you understand and appreciate and like the game. I'm very compelled by it. It's a game that, again, there's people who, like, overall ratings are good on it, like 7.2, 7.3, not amazing, not great, but they are mixed between people who really love it and people who it fell flat for. It's a game that the people who like it seem to say, no, it's really good, just the other people don't understand how to like it. And while obviously that's a kind of, like, obnoxious statement in its own right, maybe there's merit to it, and it feels like with Sanctum there's a degree of merit to it. Not saying there is or isn't until I play it, but it feels like it does feel like it's a game where people have different expectations, and depending on your expectations, this is a game that may or may not work for you. Meaning all games may or may not work for you, but this one seems to come down to the expectations involved. Either way, this is Sanctum. I really hope to play this one. I'm realizing now I forgot Alter Quest. Alter Quest should definitely have been on this list. I read the rules, I set that up, did not play it. Oh, nope. Anyways, going back to Sanctum. Sanctum, yeah, I hope to play Sanctum. It's been a while. I've been a year plus since I've gotten it, but I would love to get this one tabled. Tried multiple times and have still failed. Which brings us to 2 games left. 2 games left, one of which I've read the rules and set up. Well, I've read the rules twice. I've set it up once, and that's Claustrophobia 1643. This is coming to you from Monolith Games. This is their reprint of Claustrophobia. Claustrophobia already had their own, printing and expansions and all that stuff. And then Monolith came to the table and brought you this one, or brought us this one. And I picked it up because it looked like a fantastic 2-player experience. That side of the box doesn't look as pretty. Let's do this side of the box. There we go. That's much prettier. Looked like a fantastic 2-player experience. I read the rules, the asymmetric dungeon crawler, the demons and the fighters, trying to manage your action allocation system. It's been a while since I read the rules, but I remember those little cubes. You're trying to figure out how to attack, where to navigate, where to move, as you wander around a bunch of evolving scenarios in the game, playing as those 2 different sides, going through the experience. Seems fascinating, seems well done, seems well liked, is well rated. Read the rules twice, set it up once, played it 0 times. Would love to get this one tabled. Would love to. By the way, honestly, if you want a selfish motivation for me coming up with this list, if you see me at a convention, or if you are at a convention and there's opportunities to play games, I'll be at Dice Tower West, hopefully, for example. If you know these games and want to table them, I would love to get them tabled. I may have played and gotten rid of some of them by the time you watch this video, or by the time Dice Tower West rolls around, but who knows? Who knows? So that's just a fun, selfish little motivation to actually do this video, is the fact that I might actually get some of these games played. I think some are more likely than others. Babylonia, Cactus Town, Meeples Monsters, Sanctum should all be easier to table, but games like Claustrophobia or Fury of Dracula, Clans of Caledonia, some of these games have a higher Bitoku, some of them have a higher degree of mental assignment that I may have to reread rules and re-dive into them, and that's always harder. Rereading rules for like the 4th time is always harder than the 2nd or 3rd time. Not actually harder, it's easier, but it's harder to mentally do so, because how many times do you want to read the rulebook to a game and commit yourself to a game before you understand that it won't be played? Which brings us to the number 1 pick, which is a rulebook I've read 3 times, a game that my wife has requested like 7 times, and a game that has been played 0 times. It just hasn't worked out, but this is the Gallerist. I've played Lisboa from Vital Lacerda's games. Lisboa is the only... That's not true. I've played Mercado de Lisboa and Lisboa, so I've played 2 of Vital Lacerda's games, but I've been meaning to play a lot more of them. I have the Escape Plan. I have, not Vinos, I have On Mars. I think I have one more. No, I have On Mars, Escape Plan, Lisboa, and the Gallerist. I've only played Lisboa. I want to play the Gallerist. On Mars and Escape Plan, haven't even read the rules. Technically, I started the rules for Escape Plan, but haven't actually. Technically, I started the rules for On Mars 2. Haven't read the rules for those. But the Gallerist, I've read the rules multiple times. The whole aspect of trying to invest in your artist, to manage the galleries, to take your first and secondary actions as you get pushed down different areas, trying to manage a ton of things in this game, in what is ultimately going to be a very tight, very well-liked game. That's what Vital Lacerda's games are, but one that, I have not actually played. I'd love to play this. Honestly, I should probably reach out to Paul Grogan. Paul Grogan at one point, I can't remember the game, but he at one point offered to play a Vital Lacerda game with me, and so I should probably take him up on that offer if I can get away with it. Either on TTS or, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But I would love to play more Vital Lacerda games, specifically in this case the Gallerist, just because I've mentally invested in it multiple times. And that's what we have here. These are the 12 games. I don't even know where to put these things at this point. These can now move over here. These can now move over here. These are the 12 games that are the most... games that I want to play a lot. Games that I've tried tabling and games that I've been unable to table. Again, I probably have somewhere in the range of 20 or so of these in my collection. Games that I've tried tabling, read the rules, have not got them done. We have Raccoon Tycoon, Anachrony. We have Altar Quest. Bunch of others that I probably forgot as far as trying to pick and choose which ones really want to get tabled. Imperium the Contention, although I've played that once, that doesn't count. There are some games, if I played a game once and I want to play it again, that's a different conversation entirely. That happens a lot more frequently, honestly, versus games I haven't played. Yeah, I want to get these tabled. In any case, and until next time, that's basically it. A random assortment video list this time. Random top 10 list. I was just trying to think of something that I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to talk about some games that I hadn't gotten played. And I was thinking about the fact, the main inspiration for this list was Sanctum. Sanctum is a game that I've been trying to table for a while, and it's just like, I want to talk about it, I want to play it, I want to get it to the table, but it just hasn't happened yet. And that led me down a rabbit hole of other games that I've been trying to get tabled that haven't happened yet. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Let me know down below a game that you've been trying to table. Let me know specifically, let's go with this. A game that you've been trying to table for at least a year that just hasn't worked out for you. That you haven't been able to get it tabled. Why and why not? And do you think you actually will get it tabled, or are you still just holding on, desperately hoping for something that will never happen? In any case, and until next time, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.